install this entire process themselves in. Maybe those couple of issues.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Yep.
Okay.
On the new construction, it's usually a contract that's awarded to the city. We go in, whoever the contractor may be, digs up the water main. We come in and tap the service. They run the service to the property, and then after the home is built or in the process of being built, we go back and set the meter pit. And the customer is charged back $150 for this process. And that just covers the cost of the meter pit and the lid and the materials that it takes for us to do that, kind of get it out of the hands of the plumber, because we have responsibility, we're claiming responsibility for this stretch of service line, so we just do all the work to be sure everything's to our code. On commercial properties, it would be the property owner or the plumber that would be responsible for this process, and they would have to, we would come in and do the tap, but they would have to do everything, set the meter pit all the way in, and then after everything's inspected, we would come and set the meter at that time. We only do this for residential. If it's an irrigation system or any other thing of that nature that's not a required utility, that is at the homeowner's cost.
I think that probably covers most of the bases that Greg gets stuck with in general.
Take two. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So good job. So is there any one piece of equipment in here that would be good to maybe get a couple of shots of for background stuff? Or?
Should I mention anything about the cost or anything, or any of the equipment, copper or anything like that? Or what do we want? Oh, we got.
Yeah, all that here.
Gotcha.
Especially that copper, it seems to grow legs.
Yeah, they might break in here.
Perfect. So.
Jeff, Jim, can you bring your, are you going to do your stuff right there too?
I can do the repair plan.
Can you bring your fire hydrant over here?
Yeah, I can do it over. I got it on the floor.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Is this kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Let's say you can do whatever you need to with it as you get it. Or if something doesn't turn out like you thought, this is something we can set up and do in just a heartbeat. So.
This is perfect. I know.
That's why I say it was more important for you to see the outside world than the office, because we are way different than a lot of other services. Most of our stuff's out of sight, out of mind.
And yeah, most of the times they've tried to do these shows in the past. They've done them in our studio, and we don't really have a good idea of
You don't really get to
what
see
all they're
what's
talking.
going on.
So yeah, this is heavy duty.
Tapes are rolling. So if you could, tell me a little bit about who you are and what it is you do here at the Water Distribution Center.
My name is Jim Corbin. I'm the Water Distribution Foreman for the City of Salina. I'm going to show you a little bit here about one of the ways we have of repairing a leaky water main. Once we determine that there's a leak on the main, we figure out exactly where the leak is. We dig the main up, and we have a repair clamp. This clamp is made of stainless steel, has a rubber lining. The lug is cast iron with an epoxy coating, and the bolts are a special alloy that resists corrosion. And if this were the spot of the leak on the water main, we would mount the clamp up like this, and then basically just tighten the bolts down. And once you tighten all the bolts, it's makes a good repair. Then after that, we backfill the hole and patch the street, and hopefully you won't even notice we were ever there.
About how many people does it take for each time this happens, or does that depend on the severity of?
Yeah, we usually have a 4 to a 5-man crew on a typical main break. We have to jackhammer the hole in the street and excavate it. And then we have to operate valves to shut the water down. An average main break from the time we get there to the time we're done will take between 3 and 4 hours to complete.
And how bad can these leaks get sometimes? Are there some that are just, because I can imagine trying to put that on if there's water shooting out.
Yeah, when you're fixing a main, generally you always have some water you have to fight. It's just part of it. We have pumps that we can pump the water out of the hole while we're in there working. If a break in the main is bad enough that a repair clamp like this won't cover it, then we have a situation where we actually have to cut a section out of the water main and replace it with a new section of pipe. And we have fittings around here that we use for that, and some of them are these blue ones right over here on the shelf. Those are called solid sleeves, and that's for cutting in a new section of pipe.
Again, you guys are used to working 24 hours a day on this?
Yeah, we're on call 24 hours a day, every day of the year. And we generally have to respond quite a bit at night. We work a lot of holidays. But that's part of the job. So when a main starts leaking, you can't, you can't leave it go. You have to get in there right away and do something about it. I thought I might also show you a little bit about a fire hydrant here. This is a new fire hydrant. Of course, we all recognize this part here. It's the part that's above the ground that everyone can see. And this here is the part of the hydrant underneath the ground that you can't see. I'm sure you've all seen on the movies where a car runs into a fire hydrant and the water shoots up in the air. Well, that doesn't really happen, at least not around here. This part of the country we use what they call a dry barrel hydrant, and that's because the weather gets so cold here that you can't have water stand in these hydrants or they would freeze. So the way that works is the valve mechanism that turns the water